Hello, greetings, it's Lee. Well, as the title of this video is going to suggest, I wanted to do a video about preparedness and how prepared you or I am and are feeling towards the big changes that are going to be going on. I'm not just talking about the changes of the spirit and of the consciousness that are taking place, that we're always being propelled forward. The very purpose of our being here was to expand consciousness, was to become self-realized or self-actualized. But I do want to make note that certain events and things occurred throughout history that helped to prompt and push forward this good and holy agenda and purpose for our lives. What is going to be happening very soon and is going to be evident for the whole world to see is going to be a return of the gods. Now, I'm using the word gods because in times of old, this is what the EBEs were called, the Watchers, or the extraterrestrial biological entities that have helped the beings of Terra were called the Watchers. Now, people understood them as gods. Now, if indeed they are more developed than the typical human, and if they are working for the God, which is, well, God is hard to describe because God is the source of consciousness and the source of feelings. God is the love. God is the notion. God is not reduced to a single person in that sense. But I'm saying if these gods are micro-gods working on behalf of that God and that will, but so are we. And our whole training and our whole purpose of being here was to attain that self-actualization. So we would be working in unison with that called God, and we would be co-creators, and those who would be performing great active duties out in this cosmos. So I must say that, I don't have to sell it to a lot of people, the reality of the UFO and of the extraterrestrial. There are, countless stories, videos, documents, writings. Ask your local military to send you papers for that matter. I believe that the US was the one country that was hanging on to keeping their secrets up until the very end because they were seen as the world power, and to admit that they were not the strongest was to admit that they were not the strongest. Well, of course, the US military is not the strongest thing in the universe. Now, I'm not trying to mock my American brothers, I'm a Canadian. I'm just saying it's nice that I am in a country where it is very easily accessible to get knowledge of UFO and alien encounters as per military truth and fact-based thing. Now, I don't even need, and you don't even need, to get their permission or to get stories from them, because when we have had our own experiences, it is even better. So, saying that, whether or not any person admits to such things or any person has had experience in such things, I wish to tell you from my heart and tell you from the truth that there will be a visible return of the gods, and it will be very good for a lot of us, and it will be very terrifying for a lot of others. Now, we look at this earth and we see what is working towards our benefit and what is working towards our detriment. I like to put it maybe perhaps in that word, our forefathers, if you want to talk about the entity called the human being, the meshing of spirit and flesh called the human being. Out in the cosmos, there is a great spirituality that is followed. It is the one way, and it has been echoed on this planet. The way was followed and taught by many, and is still around. The way is being good, being polite, being holy, being full of grace. There was that nice quote that I saw on one gentleman. He resides in Europe, and he had said that chivalry is the highest human philosophy, and I agree with that very much. The way of grace and righteousness, justice, truth, and honor, this is the way, and we are being led to follow this. So this is being taught to our spirit whilst we are in these types of bodies. Now, it sounds outrageous, but you and I have been in many different body types, and we are going to ascend, for those who are worthy of it, are going to ascend to be worthy of different superior body types to these. This is called the resurrection of the body. In the case that we don't exactly maybe appreciate or understand why we live for 70, 80, 90, if we're lucky 100 odd years. But in the times to come we will have much greater lifetimes than this without having to worry about death as such a immediate and constant, I don't know, troublesome reality to deal with. Mortality does have to do with the body, yes, but I'm talking about not having to worry about it as much, having something vastly superior in concerns to an enjoyable incarnation as opposed to a short-lived one. Now I'm talking all mysteriously, but so you have to forgive me. It's the difficulty of trying to say things and it being reduced to a small human consciousness and then being reduced to a small human speech. Certain things can be a little bit, a little bit difficult, and we all go through this. We all understand what this can mean. So I don't mind going on YouTube and talking in these kind of ways, because whether people want to believe or not, the truth never gets changed. You can call it disclosure, you can call it the unveiling, you can call it the disappearance of Maya, or whatever you'd like. But we are under a strong, heavy influence, and there shall be things at this time. So my basic question to put out to the people is, are you ready for it? Are you going to be accepting when there will be a massive amount of the returners, the watchers, coming down? Now, they were always here. Are you going to be in a mode of panic or in a mode of acceptance? Are you going to be in a mode of, I'll wait and see what happens, as opposed to, I'm going to go and take arms and try and fight? Let me say this, that we must not be hasty to be aggressive when aggression is not shown to us. Most of the beings that travel the cosmos are in the cosmos, are of the goodly sort. And that is why Jesus says, if you do not gather with me, you will scatter. Those who are in the intent of good, the intent of bliss, the intent and the being in the mode of happiness and holiness and superiority, as by being in default a mature entity, 80% plus, 90% plus. And anything that is regressive and falling will fall in order to learn again, or to learn for the first time, to come into this. So we are being prepared along the way to enjoy and to enter this reality. There is such a thing as the alien and the extraterrestrial and the UFO. There are massive star fleets. There are all sorts of things. It has been hinted at in our TV and in our movies to be prepared for these things, to understand travel and planetary jumping in different existences, and hopefully in a peaceful mode and in a way of innocence, and to the gaining of knowledge and to the progression of the soul entity. Many people may have a hard time to believe it, and sometimes people will not have a hard time to believe it. There are many entities that are of the Star Brotherhood that don't have a problem to incarnate on the lesser planets, or to, I don't want to put it that way, but to go down a notch and to speak of things that are higher than this. Anybody that is here on this planet right now, that is speaking of higher things, that remembers better things, that yearns for a better life, already is of this alignment. I'll just give a quick, simple example in recent times, and he's a very popular fellow right now. He can be found on YouTube, Google Video, or whatnot. But think of David Wilcock, who very much is indeed the reincarnation of Edgar Cayce. Now, this person, David Wilcock, is a star brother who has come back down, and my spirit has just confirmed it again, my friends, that people like this come down to help. Anyone coming to work the light and to give encouragement and to give blessings and to get people to get out of an earthly mindedness, of a worldly mindedness, and to go into a galactic or a cosmic mindedness. Anyone thirsty, like I said, for something bigger than this, someone who wants more than this short life, someone who understands that life isn't just about 5 sensory gratification. The little worries that we have, the little plans that we have, yes, they're cute and they exist, and they make the world go round in some senses, but so much of it is meaningless if you really think about the higher things that we have can be and are. So that was just my question, because there are some regressive types that have fallen and are quarantined on this planet. When there are aggressive and malicious entities, whether physically or non-physically, that are around, if they come into contact with the Brotherhood of Righteousness, if we can call it that, then they will be chased and quarantined, because the intention is to turn them to good, and they will learn it by trial and by example and by karma. So nothing escapes the eye of God, as it were, this way. There are some entities that are trapped on this planet, and they work for the detriment of all souls that are living on this planet. I don't have to go into great detail. You can understand that there are lots of stories and videos, etc., dealing with Illuminati and whatnot. That's just one word for it. And these types of sellout type souls who have aligned with regressive and malicious types who are power hungry. True power is about real actual power, and this includes holiness, love, compassion, mercy, as well as force. Force and strength itself, with no love, with no harness thereof, is not true strength or power. It is reckless, and it is too circumstantial, too reckless, and too quick-tempered to have a true authority. So those that align with that, whether it was told that it was some god asking them to be like this and to convert others by the sword, or whether it was any descent at all caused by from one human into another human being, well, this is of the wrong sort. So if there are those quarantined here, and those who are sellout souls, and those who are not ready to join the light and the great brotherhood that is the vast majority of those who are not quarantined to small places like this, well, I ask people to understand that when things come down, when you see movies about War of the Worlds and this and that, the entities that are coming to the planet, who have always been here and who have always been watching, are friendly. Most of them are very friendly. The ones that are trapped here, or the ones that sneak here for their own selfish reasons, that don't give you an aura of peace and love, and of teaching and of health, then don't listen to them, because they're going to tell you all sorts of lies. They're going to get you to join them, so that you or I might dare think that we should fight any outside source, that the aliens coming here are the enemy, that God is the enemy. Remember the many presidents of the US and other countries for that matter, speaking along the lines of, well, we might join forces here if there was a threat from the outside, something to this effect. Who said it that more than once? What was it, Ronald Reagan? Or am I getting my names confused here? That among many. And so there is a new world order to connect people in a false manner, to get them to fight outside sources, distrust God, dislike the light, etc. Don't join with them, because you're going to get a nasty surprise. You're going to have to continue this way, and living in a vicious cycle of existence until you get it. So I am one person sharing this knowledge with you, and sharing this, I'm reaching out to say, let's join with the light, remain with it, have faith. Don't listen to the lies. Don't align yourselves with those who seem appealing at first, but you have an intuitive sense that there's something wrong. Well then, your own heart shall be the judge of it. There are many friends in this cosmos in many dimensions, and all that is asking you to become mature, leading into holiness, goodness, politeness, and being proper, and being truly powerful. That and those are your friends, and not the other way around. So, greetings from one pinpoint in space and time to another consciousness that is you, and I wish you will be ready and be prepared for what's coming and not panic. My biggest fear is people panicking when they don't need to panic. So have faith, have love, and wait and see. And you might have a much more calm experience, as opposed to something rambunctious and terrifying. These things are happening no matter what, whether we like it or not. Even better when we are eagerly awaiting for it, thus proving where we are aligned truly. So, maybe I speak cryptically and archaically and bizarrely for some people, but I have my own old strange style, and a wink and a blessing for you. Namaste, peace, love for eternity, and may you have a nice moment, and may you continue to grow and be aware of what's going on very much. I send my great love to you. We'll see you next time.